Wheat takes around 6 months to grow in the field. When it is harvested, the grain needs to be removed from the stalks. In the late 19th century, this was often done by threshing machine powered by a steam engine. A belt from the steam engine drove the threshing machinery. Labourers forked the harvested wheat into the thresher, which separated the grain from the straw and chaff. The unwanted chaff was blown away. The straw was baled together and used for animal bedding or feed, and the grains of wheat were poured into sacks ready for milling or sowing for next year's harvest. Depending on the strength of the wind, different weights are added to the chains. These operate the spider, which opens and closes the shutters on the sails to control the speed in which they go round. The energy of the wind is captured by the sails and used to power the mill. When the brakes are taken off and the sails turn, the gear wheels inside the mill rotate and the mill comes to life. It is essential that the sails face into the wind for the safe and effective running of the mill. This is achieved by the fantail sail, which enables the top of the windmill to rotate, keeping the sails facing safely into the wind. Much of the windmill's action is automated, and the whole process could be managed comfortably by just 2 millers. A governor regulates the gap between the millstones, and even the sack hoist is powered by the mill machinery, saving the millers the back-breaking work of carrying the grain sacks up the steep stairs between each floor. The hoist effortlessly carries a sack of grain up to the grain floor at the top of the mill, through cleverly designed trapdoors which prevent the sack from dropping back down. The grain is then poured into a hopper, and with the aid of gravity, it begins its journey down through the mill. The energy of the wind is transferred via a rotating central column, which drives the machinery on each floor. Each of the largest gear wheels is finished with metal cogs, and the smaller ones with cogs of wood. This allows the moving parts to interlock with minimal damage and makes them easier to repair. From the hopper above, the grain then pours into the damsel on the stone floor. The damsel is jiggled by the machinery, gradually releasing the grain into the eye at the centre of the 2 millstones. One of the pair of millstones remains still, while the other, the runner stone, rotates and grinds the grain into flour. The flour then pours out of the meal spout into a sack on the ground floor of the mill. The miller scoops the flour into individual bags to be weighed and sold. Brown or wholemeal flour was the cheapest to buy, with fine white flour the most expensive. Many windmills had their own bakeries, or supplied flour to bakeries and shops nearby. But flour could also be purchased direct from the mill. To make bread, flour is combined with yeast and water and worked into dough. This is kneaded, left to rise, kneaded again, and finally shaped into a loaf or rolls to be baked in an oven. By the late 19th century, most Lincolnshire homes would have had a small range for cooking and baking. It takes around 20 minutes to bake a loaf of bread, and you can usually tell it is cooked by the smell rising from the oven. You can also tell if the loaf is cooked by the hollow sound it makes when you tap it underneath. mill has ground the wheat into white and wholemeal flour for use in bread, pastry and cakes. It has taken the land, sun, rain and wind to make this table of food possible for this 19th century family.